Welcome back. This is episode 11 of Kitchen Witch Table Talks. My name is Leandra Witchwood, and here we are continuing our discussion on advice for beginners. And in this episode, we are going to discuss the idea of having compassion and empathy. Now, in my opinion, my humble opinion, compassion and empathy are two extraordinarily important qualities of a student and a teacher and especially a leader. As I mentioned in our last episode, it is critical that our communities come together to form one cohesive community. And the only way we can do that is through compassion and empathy. Now, in our last discussion, we talked about having an open mind. In this one, I want to kind of connect those together. And I want you to establish empathy and compassion for those who, might be lost on the path, who need help, who may have the wrong idea about things and need better understanding. When someone's wrong about a subject or a practice, it doesn't mean that we need to lay into them as hard as we can and tear them apart. Instead, it's more important for us and more conducive for us as a community to reach out a hand and say, hey, let me help you. I think you have the wrong idea. Let's work this through together. And when we take time with each other, when we help each other, when we have compassion and empathy toward one another, we start building something strong. We start building something meaningful and important. And in conjunction with that, when you start following a path that studies the metaphysical, that studies the esoteric, you begin to open yourself up to things that have extremely deep meaning. Sometimes the meaning and the experiences you're not able to express them with words or even painting or art or music. They're incomprehensible to those of us living in a linear plane. And I know there's been, some who say we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and I tend to believe that in many cases. So when we experience things that are deep, we don't want to, share that with anyone if we feel like we are going to be ridiculed for it or bashed or, basically, burned at the stake for it. So when we have compassion and empathy, we allow ourselves to open up to one another. We allow that perfect love and perfect trust in so that it can work the magic it is intended to work. So as I leave you, I just want you to really think about that. Where in your path could you incorporate more compassion and empathy? And as it's very well known, most of us who follow this kind of path are already empathic at some level, in some way, shape, or form. So why would we want to close that off to one another and restrict ourselves from connecting our energy with one another? If we have nothing to hide, if we have no malice intended, there's no reason we can't have compassion and empathy for one another. And even if we did run into somebody who was intending harm, that is the most important time to show compassion and empathy. So I'm going to leave you now, and I wish you many bright blessings. Until next time.